This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. So in the last class, we seen about the introduction of the cloud, and we seen about what is the definition for the cloud computing, and also seen what are the cloud components, the client, distributed servers, and the data centers. Also seen about what are different types of clients, and what are the data center, and what is the distributed servers. Then we seen about the applications of a cloud computing. So these are the some set of application of a cloud computing: a storage, database, synchronization, video making and editing software, file converters, backup and recovery. Then after that, we've seen the difference between the intranet and the cloud. And after we've seen what is the client and what is the server and what is the client server architecture. And then we've seen about why we need to use the cloud computing, or what is the purpose of using the cloud computing. For the cost and benefit ratio, we're using the cloud computing, and speed of the delivery and how much capacity will use, that much only you are paying to the cloud vendors. Okay, that are the matters when it comes to why need to use the cloud computing. Then after that, we've seen about the scenarios of the cloud computing. So in that, we've seen three different types of scenarios: the compute clouds, cloud storage, and cloud applications. And after that, we've seen about the benefits of the cloud computing. The benefits, you can say it as a simplicity, scalability, knowledgeable vendors, more internal resources, and security. Now in this class, we'll see about the limitations of a cloud computing. So we'll start with the thing. Now we have a set of limitations when it comes to the cloud computing. So first we'll see the first one. Sorry. So the first one is your sensitive information. Now, what is the sensitive information meant for? Is that your private data. Okay. Assume that you have stored uh, any one picture, or you can say your property document into the cloud. Okay. So you cannot store any sensitive information within a cloud. Okay. That is the main purpose, because you cannot say the cloud is secure one. Okay. 100% secure one. If you are storing your sensitive information into the cloud, that might be a hacked one, or it might be a you can say robbed by the hackers. Okay, and they can use that information, and they can also blackmail you people. Okay, for that reason we cannot save your sensitive information within a cloud. That is the first limitation of a cloud computing. Then after that, applications not ready. Now what is the mean of application not ready? If I say, if I download any mobile applications, okay, if I say the API files, or you can say exe files, okay, so you are using the GoToMeeting app now. Okay, so that thing I can call it as the application that will be in the cloud only. Okay, and you are using the application in your mobile. Okay, if that application is not ready and you're using the GoToMeeting application, okay, at that time you can face the issues over there. Okay, that is also a limitation of a cloud computing. If the application is not ready, then the client will get the issues. That is the second disadvantage. Then third one is about the developing your own application. In the sense, assume that it may be a case that you need a very specific application. Okay, for a particular organization you need a particular application. In that situation, you need to go for the own developing the application. Okay, and to develop your own application, you need to have the program skills, or you can have to hire a web developer, okay, to design your application. Okay, that is also a cost ratio will be higher one. Okay, for that reason we say that developing your own application is a disadvantage of a cloud computing. And after that we have the security concern. So the security concern, you can say it as how much security is providing to your data which is stored in the cloud. Okay, that thing I can call it as a security concern. Now the security concern can be divided into four parts. The first one is privacy concern with the third party. In the sense, data and you are the two peoples, your data and you people. Okay, and you're storing your data into the third party vendors. Okay, so assume that you have some set of data and you're storing your data into the Google Drive. Okay, so the Google Drive is the third party. Okay, so when you store your data into the Google Drive, so your all data will be stored within a Google Drive, and you can say the authorized people. Okay, now who can access your data over there? You and the cloud manage. Okay, so you are giving your data to the third party. That is also a one of the security concern. Then you have the hackers. Okay, whenever it comes to the internet, there are always be a hackers over there, and also you have the bot attackers. Okay, they can also use the botnet and they can hack your data from the cloud. Okay, so these are the four limitations of a cloud computing. Then next we have the regulatory issues. Now what are the regulatory issues? Is nothing but if you are going to any application, or if you are going to sign up to any application, okay, they have mentioned the terms and conditions. Okay, anyone will not read about the terms and conditions, just they will check the thing and go for the agree button. Okay, but whatever written in the terms and conditions, you need to know that one, then only you can go for the applications. Okay, and in a regulatory issues, for a particular organization or a particular business, government will not interfere about these things. Okay, and if any issues will happen, the government will not come and solve that issue, because you already agreed for the terms and condition. Okay, that is the main thing, you can say it as a regulatory issues. So these are the five main things, or you can say the points which comes under the demerits of a cloud computing. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll go for the next thing, that is companies in the cloud today. Okay, so we have many companies in the cloud. Okay, but you take some important companies, or you can say the top companies. The first one is about the Google. Okay, so if I open the browser, so wait a minute. Okay, now if I open the browser, so this is the browser, and if I say, if I click over here, okay, this is about the Google apps. Okay, and the Google is the company, or you can say it as a company or an organization which is giving some set of applications. So if you click on over here, it will display the set of application which is developed by the Google. So you have the Google accounts, you have the Google search, you have the Google Maps, YouTube, Play Store, News, Gmail, Drive, and these are the applications. And if you want more applications, just click on the more from Google. So here you can see the products of the Googles. Okay, for the education purpose also it is developing some application for the teachers, in the sense you have the Google Classroom and all those things. Okay, and here you have the applications from the Google. So you have the Google search, you have the Google Translate. Now what is the use of the Google Translate? You translate the things from one language to another language. Okay, that is the use of the translate. Then you have the Google Chrome. Okay, now I am using the Google Chrome web browser. Okay, that is also a product of the Google company only. Then we have the Google Maps. uh, Sorry, again we have the YouTube for the music and YouTube for the videos also. Then we have the Chromecast. Now what is the Chromecast over here? Whatever you are running in a mobile phone, you can directly broadcast within a Android TVs also. Okay, that is the Chromecast. Then you have the Google Play and Music TVs, and you have the YouTube, and you have the Pixel connected home, and these are the some of the applications of Google's. Then if I say, wait a minute. Okay, now here you have the things, Google Docs and Google Slides. So it will act like your MS Word. Okay, whatever features are provided in the MS Word, same features will be there in the Google Docs, and this is for the PowerPoint presentation. And you have the Drive also. Okay, so these are the some of the applications. But when you come to the syllabus, so in Google they are providing for the cloud, they are providing the application called Google App Engine. Now what is the Google App Engine? We'll see. Sorry. A Google App Engine enables developers to build their web applications. Okay, now what is the main purpose of the Google App Engine? to develop a web application while using the Google App Engine. So if you go to the browser and if you search for the Google App Engine, so Google App Engine. So this is the advertisement. Don't go for this. Just go through here. So this is the, you can say, the ID of your Google Cloud, or you can say the Google App Engine. So they're saying for the try version. Okay, if you click on this thing, you can go for the sign up and you can fill the data over there and you can start with the application. Then these are some usage of the Google App Engine, and these are the benefits you can say it as. So it is an open and familiar language and tools. Okay, and also it is just add code, in the sense you can write code once and deploy it anywhere, and pay only for what you use. How much you will use, that much only you can pay for the things. Then again I have some key features of a Google App Engine. The first one is popular programming language. So you can also build the Node.js, Java, Ruby, C, C Hash, and Go, Python, PHP. Any language you can use within a Google App Engine to develop a web application. And it is an open and flexible. It is an open source and it is also a flexible one. And it is fully managed. You can manage the things in the Google App Engine. Then also they're saying the customers just let it be. Then they have the documentation about these things, how to choose the right app store engine environment. Okay, just you go and see what are the things over here, and you can also start with the things. So just click on the get started and it's showing that the options quick starts. Okay, just I'll go for the quick starts. So it will show how to install a Google App Engine and how to work on that thing. So just you need to click on the quick starts. So it's saying that if you want to start with the create a Linux virtual machine, you can go for here, and store a files and share it, you can go for here. So just you click on the view documentation, it will display the things. Okay, before you begin, what you need to do, you just need to sign into your Google account, it may be your Gmail account, and you need to follow these things. Okay, this is the instructions to create a Google App Engine, so you can say it as, or you can say to create a virtual machine, Linux virtual machine, you are using this set of things. Okay, so this is about the Google App Engine. Now the next thing is about Google Web Toolkit. Now what is the Google Web Toolkit? With Google Web Toolkit, developers can develop and debug web application. Okay, so for the Google App Engine, only a developer can develop a web application. But when I'm using the Google Web Toolkit, developers can develop web application and also he can debug the web applications. So if you want, you can see the environment of a Google Web Toolkit. Just go to the browser and type Google Web Toolkit. So that is showing that GWT, that is the Google Web Toolkit. So if I open the things, so it is saying that you have the page like this. So just click on the get started, or you can have the tutorials also, and you have the documentation also. So if you want to start with the Google Web Toolkit, you need to follow this set of things. Okay, so you can create your first web application by installing this set of things also. Okay, so you can, if you want to, you can go for it and you can practice the things. Then the next company is about the EMC Corporation. Now EMC Corporation is how the you can say it is the one of the product of the Dell company. Okay, it's giving some technologies. So what are the technologies over there? You can have the archiving, and you have the backup and recovery, and you have the security, and you have the storage, and you have the virtualization. So these are the some set of technologies which is provided by the EMC Corporation: archiving, backup and recovery, security, storage, and virtualization. Now what is the archiving? Archiving nothing but you are reducing the file size. Okay, I can say it as the archiving. So just I will give an example of this thing. how to archive a file. So if I go to back, here I have the cloud class as the folder. So if I right click and then I have the thing add to archive. Okay, so if I click on this thing, it will ask for the if you want to archive the format in a rar or a rar4 or a zip file. Okay, when you click on OK, it will reduce the file and it will make a rar file. Okay, this thing I can call it as a archiving. Okay, this process I can call it as a archiving. So I can do the same things on a online also. Okay, so that is the one of the application of the EMC corporation. Then second one is about the backup and recovery. And when you're storing your data into the EMC corporation, okay, whenever your real system has been collaborated or you can set as a scrapped, you can easily backup your things from the cloud. Then you have the security. Okay, EMC corporation is also providing the security. Then storage is nothing but it is giving some space to store your information. Then you have the virtualization, so you can also virtualize your system also. So again, so EMC corporation, so saying that Dell EMC. Okay, so just see what it is. No, is not the page which I'm searching for. Okay, let it be. It's not showing over here. Just showing the Wikipedia. Sorry. So he is the founder and all those things. Okay, so let it be. Next we'll go for the next company, that is the .NET app. Sorry, NetApp. NetApp is also one of the company. Now what is the use of the NetApp? Organization that creates storage and data management solutions. Okay, it will give the storage and data management solutions. Now what is the storage and data management solution? Solution in the sense it will give the things, or you can say it as some storage space to store your data and manage your data. Okay, that is the main use of the NetApp. The next one is about the Microsoft. And in a Microsoft, first we have the thing as Azure Service Platform. Okay, now what is the main use of the Azure Service Platform? This open source and flexible cloud platform which helps in development, data storage, service management, and hosting the solutions. Okay, for these all purpose we are using the Azure Service Platform. If I go to the browser, if I write the Microsoft Azure Service Platform. Okay, not showing the things over here. Close these things. Okay, now this is the idea of your Microsoft Azure. Now you can see over here the product of the Microsoft Azure. You can create a virtual machines. You have the Azure SQL, you have the Azure Cosmos database. Okay, that is a simple DB, you can say it as. Then you have the app services, Play, Fab, and Azure Quantum. Okay, these are the some features of the Microsoft Azure. Then you have the solutions also. Okay, so where you can use the Microsoft Azure to develop and test and develop the applications, and you have the develop, and you can also use it in the e-commerce, gaming, and all those things. Okay, so if I go to the overview, so here I have the Azure things. Okay, be feature ready and built on your terms. Okay, these are the features of Azure. Then it is providing some free courses also. Just you can go and click on the documentation. Okay, it will give the getting started things, and I also have the free account over here also. Okay, so this is all about the Microsoft Azure. Then the next one is about SQL services. So the next one is about the SQL services. So again, go to the browser and search for the Microsoft SQL services. So Microsoft services, you have the Azure SQL database. Okay, so this is about the SQL services. Okay, and you can manage your SQL format, and you have the saving things, and you have the security concern. Okay, and this is the things how the SQL services are used. So through the desktop, you are creating the SQL things, and that will be stored within a different data centers. And you have the video for this thing. If you have the internet, just go for this URL. Okay, or you can search for the just Microsoft SQL services, and you'll get the page like this. Okay, so this is about the page. So what I'm saying, okay. Now the next thing is about the .NET services. Now what is the .NET service? .NET services are similar to the .NET framework, providing high-level class libraries that makes development much more robust. In the sense, it will act, or the idea of this thing will be same as your .NET framework. Okay, so but you are using it in a cloud only. So again, Microsoft .NET service. Okay, now this is the homepage of the Microsoft .NET services. So it's saying that you can develop a platform for building a mobile application, desktop application. Okay, whatever you want, you can develop over here, or you can create a game also. So where you can use the things in the web, in the mobile, desktop. Okay, microservices, IoT, cloud, machine learning, and game development. Then in this all, you can use the Microsoft .NET services. Then which language you are using for this thing? We can use a C Sharp, F Sharp, and Visual Basics. Okay, so these are the main three languages you can use to develop any application in the Microsoft .NET services. Okay, C Sharp, F Sharp, and Visual Basics. Then you are having the customers. Now all of you seen about the Stack Overflow application. Okay, this is also using the Microsoft .NET framework. Okay, so for these are the customers of a Microsoft .NET services. Then the next company is about the Microsoft Dynamics CRM. Now what is the Dynamics CRM? Microsoft Dynamics CRM is an online on-demand customer relationship management service. Okay, so if I need to have the proper definition of this thing, just go through here and write the dynamic CRM. And now this is about the Microsoft Dynamics CRM. So how to have the Dynamics CRM name is about the 365. Okay, it is a version of the Dynamics CRM. Then this is the ID. You can see how to communicate with the peoples and how to get the, you can say, feedback from the customers. And effortless customer service start here. Okay, you can personalize your services or empower the terms, and you can unify technology also. Then you have the pricing over here, just let it be. Then these are the customers who are using the Microsoft CRM. So Accenture is also using, Adobe is also using, HP, Vista, okay, Visa, Coca-Cola, and these all peoples are using the dynamic CRM, okay, to get the users feedback. Then you have the additional features over here. Okay, let it be. So this is about the Microsoft Dynamics CRM. The next is about the Amazon. So all of you know about the Amazon, okay, but that is not only the thing the Amazon will does, okay. It also provide the, or it can have the higher possibility in the cloud, okay. So the first thing the Amazon will give us the Amazon Web Service, okay. Now what is the AWS? AWS is an Amazon's cloud web hosting platform which offers fast, flexible, reliable, and cost-effective solutions. Okay, to develop any application and to host the application, we are using the Amazon Web Service. Okay, so let's see the platform. Amazon Web Service. I can. Okay, this is about the Amazon Web Service. Sorry. So this is the homepage of the AWS, that is the Amazon Web Service. So it is exploring the product, in the sense the product of the AWS, that is analytics, program integration, okay, AWS, and these are the applications which is provided by the Amazons. Okay, you can also use it for the business applications, compute, containers, anything. Okay, then you can also use the AWS hybrid cloud solutions. Okay, in the sense you can use the VMware cloud within the AWS also. That is one of the feature of the AWS. Then these are the solution of a AWS, that is machine learning, analytical and data lake, and Internet of Things. Okay, in this set of areas the AWS is working on. Okay, or it is giving the services to these things. So this is about the AWS. Now these are the customers of AWS. Okay, I think Expedia, you have seen about this thing. Okay, the next one, that is about the Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, or you can simply say it as Amazon EC2. Now what is the Amazon EC2 does? Is an web service that offers resizable compute capacity in the cloud. Okay, to resize your configured computing, okay, you go for the Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud. Okay, so if I open the browser and if I write Amazon EC2, okay, it will go through the page. Now this is also one of the product of the AWS only. So this is the Amazon EC2. Then it has some features. Okay, so wait a minute. Okay, so these are the building blocks of Amazon EC2. So it is an faster and innovative, that is the cloud. Then you have the choice of processors, in the sense how much processor you want and which type of processor you want, you can choose over here, because it is an elastic one, in the sense it will be applied to anything. Then it has the high performance storage. It is also providing the some storage spaces also. Then enhanced network, in the sense it can connect between two different networks also by using the Amazon EC2, that is Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud. Okay, and these are the categories. You can say you can use it for the general purpose, or you can use it for the compute optimization or memory optimization, accelerated computing, storage optimization. Okay, so these are some categories of the EC2. Okay, general purpose you can use, or you can go for the organizations things only. Then Netflix is also using the EC2, in the sense these are the you can go for the Netflix and you can study on that thing how the EC2 will work. So this is about the Amazon EC2. So the main purpose of Amazon EC2 is about it can offers a resizable compute capacity in the cloud. You can modify your configuration of a cloud which is subscribed. Then the next thing is about Amazon SimpleDB. Now what is the use of Amazon SimpleDB? Amazon Simple Storage Service is Amazon storage solution for the internet. So in an internet, and if you want to use the database. Okay, you'll go for the Amazon Simple DB. That is the main definition of the Amazon Simple DB. So to know that one, so using the Simple DB. So one of the product of the AWS only. So you have the things over here. Now what are the benefits of Amazon Simple DB? It is low touch and it has the high availability. Then it has the flexible and it is simple to use, and it is secured one, and it is an inexpensive. Okay, so these are the features of, we can say it as a benefit of Amazon Simple DB. Then we have the some features, that is the logging. Okay, you can get the definition of here only. Then you can also develop or you can also store online games in the Simple DB. Then index in Amazon S3 object metadata. Okay, so these are some features of Amazon S3. Okay, so this is about the Amazon Simple DB. The next one is about Amazon Simple Storage Service, that is the Amazon S3. So what is the use of the Amazon S3 over here? Amazon storage solution for the internet. Okay, sorry, I missed the definition. So Amazon Simple DB, it provides a core database functions of the data indexing and querying. Okay, if you need to perform any operation on a internet or a cloud, you'll go for the Simple DB. And the Amazon Simple Storage Service is the storage solution for the internet. Okay, so alright, Amazon S3, it is the Simple Storage Service. Okay, now this is the idea of things, and you have some set of features, so access point, batch operations. Okay, and here you have the benefits of the Amazon S3. It can be used in a industry, and it is a wide range, and it has the unmatched security complaints, and it is easy managing data access controls, and it has the query in place services, and most supported this one. And this is the work of the Amazon S3. Okay, I think it is visible to everyone. Can anyone unmute this thing? Is that visible?
So,
Okay, so Amazon S3 will work like, so you can need to buy the things. Okay, I need to configure the things, I need to limit the things, in the sense who can access your data, then only it is easy to scale your business. Okay, so this is the work of Amazon S3. Okay, if you want, you can create your free account over here, and my suggestion, no, don't go for the creation of any account in AWS, because after some time it will go for the payments. Okay, and it will charge the things. Okay, so don't go for the registration and sign up for these things. Okay, just you need to go and you need to see the things what will comes under the particular operations, or can say the particular applications. So in an Amazon S3 you have the is the working of the Amazon S3. Then in an which cases you are using the things to backup and restore and disaster recovery, that is the DR, you can say it as, and you can also achieve the things also. Okay, so these are some use cases of Amazon S3. Then okay, let it be. Okay, so this is about the Amazon S3. Then the next one is about Amazon CloudFront. Now, what is the use of the Amazon CloudFront? Amazon CloudFront is a web service for the content delivery. Okay, so to develop to deliver any content from one to another. Okay, we're using the CloudFront. Okay, that is the main purpose of the Amazon CloudFront. So if I give an example, so Amazon CloudFront. Okay, so it's saying that content delivery network, that is DCN. It is nothing but your Amazon CloudFront. Okay. Sorry. So it's saying that fast, highly secure and programmable content delivery network. That is nothing but the Amazon CloudFront. Okay, so here I have a video for you people. Just tell me whether it is audible or not.
Introducing Amazon CloudFront, a fast, highly secure, and programmable content delivery network service. With CloudFront, you can deliver your content and applications to millions of users at scale. You can deliver both static and dynamic content. CloudFront has a worldwide network of data centers called edge locations and is integrated with AWS at physical locations directly connected to the expanding AWS global infrastructure. You can use either an AWS origin or your own custom origin server. CloudFront helps you deliver content securely to your customers. You can encrypt your communications with a free custom TLS certificate from Amazon Certificate Manager, or you can import your own certificate. You also get DDoS protection with AWS Shield Standard by default. You receive comprehensive availability protection against all known layer 3 and 4 network attacks. AWS Shield provides always-on detection and automatic inline mitigations that minimize application downtime and latency. CloudFront also integrates seamlessly with AWS FLAP for application layer protection. CloudFront's infrastructure and processes are all compliant with a wide range of standards to ensure delivery of the most sensitive data. With the Lambda at Edge feature, you can run complex application logic closer to your customers. CloudFront and Lambda at Edge automatically scale and replicate your application logic globally without you having to scale your own origin infrastructure. You can go serverless and offer dynamic, highly personalized web applications with Lambda at Edge. Using CloudFront makes financial sense. Data transfer out from other AWS origins to CloudFront is free. CloudFront accelerates and protects many types of traffic, all under the same pricing structure. And with Amazon CloudFront's pay-as-you-go pricing model, you pay for only what you use. You can get started with Amazon CloudFront for free.
Okay, now this is about the Amazon CloudFront, and they're using the language called Lambda at Edge. Okay, that is the language which are using in a CloudFront. Okay, I hope this is clear one. And these are the benefits of the Amazon CloudFront. It is a fast and it is globally distributed, and it is a secure one, and it has the highly programmable, and it is the deep integration with the AWS. Okay, those things will be told in the videos only. The same thing will be discussed over here. Okay, the benefits, that is the fast and global security and highly programmable and deep integration with AWS. Then the next company we'll see, that is the Amazon Simple Queue service. Now what is the Amazon Simple Queue service? What is the use of that thing? It is nothing but for storing messages as they travel between the computers. We're using the Simple Queue services, and also developers can move data between distributed components of their applications that perform different tasks. Okay, to send a data or to move a data from one component to another component. Okay, we're using the Amazon Simple Queue service. Okay, so how it will work and how it will look like, we'll see over here. Amazon SQS, that is the Simple Queue service. Okay, so this is about the Amazon Simple Queue service. So what are the benefits of this thing? It can be eliminate administrative overhead, okay, and reliable delivery message. It is keep sensitive data secure. Then we have the scale elastically and cost effectively. Okay, so these are some benefits of the Amazon SQS. Okay, and you can also have the definition over here also. Okay, you can go and search for this thing, and the case studies. Okay, so Amazon Simple Queue services are also working on the EMS, NASA, and BMW. Okay, all of you know about the NASA thing. Okay, now what purpose they are using, it is given in the description over here. Okay, just read out these things. Okay, these are for the more information I'm saying over here. And Redbus is also using the same thing, that is the Amazon SQS, that is the Simple Queue services. Okay, now the next thing is about the salesforce.com. Okay, so what we'll do is, in the next class I'm going to demonstrate on the salesforce.com. Okay, how to create an account in a salesforce.com and how to work on a salesforce.com. okay, I'll going to demonstrate in the next class. And the last company is about the IBM. So what is the IBM? It is providing the blue cloud over here. okay, the product of the IBM is nothing but it is providing the blue cloud. So if I say IBM blue cloud, sorry, okay, so this is the home page of the IBM blue cloud. So it will take some time to load the things. Just wait for a thing. Okay, now you can also sign up over here. okay, this is the button, and you can see the cloud package. okay, and you have seen also can see the products of the Google Blue Clouds, and you can also go for the solutions and pricing. okay, if you subscribe to this thing, okay, what will be the price over there, and who are the partners of this thing, and you can get the document also. okay, and so IBM cloud definition is over here. okay, you can see the things, and it is also providing the public cloud, okay, hybrid cloud, and the data and artificial intelligence. okay, it is working on these things also. okay, and these are the products you can say which is developed by the IBM. So you can go for the compute, network, storage, IBM cloud packs, management, security, database, analytics, okay, artificial intelligence, IoT in the sense Internet of Things. You can also develop the, or you can also use the blue cloud in the mobiles also. Then you have the some developer kits. Then you have the blockchains, integration, migration, and the logging and monitoring. So if you want to have the more details, just click on the arrow button and you'll get the more information of that things. okay, it is the additional work or additional knowledge. If you want, you can get it from the internet. okay, so the thing is just I need to demonstrate how the things will look like and how can access the things from the internet. That is the purpose of doing this thing. okay, I hope all of you get some ideas about the companies in the cloud. okay, so we'll stop over here. okay, in the next class we'll see about the demonstration of the salesforce.com, in the sense how to create a Salesforce account and how to work on a Salesforce. okay, thank you all of you. So if you have any questions, just you can chat me in the chat box. okay, I'll try to give the answer over there. If you have any questions, just put a question in the chat box. Is there any questions?
Sir, there are any updates on exam
Hello,
date? Any update dates?
I'm not able to
Exam
hear your
dates?
voice. Just do one thing, just put your question in the chat box. If the chat box is enabled, Mantish,
Yes, sir.
okay, just put a question over there. Video linkast group में betray. Okay, we'll share the groups in a video links in a group. okay, so Has, any updates for exam date we'll discuss in later part, Mantesh. okay, just I am asking the questions about the class. okay, any questions related to the class? okay, thank you. So I hope there is no questions. okay, and so as we'll share the links in a groups. okay, just I hope you are in the placement group. okay, we'll share the link over there.
Awesome.
okay, thank you all of you. I'm ending the class over here. okay, thank you. I'm ending the meeting. Thank you all of you.